The business, when it first started, its name was QMS Quarry and Mining Service. It had nothing to do with the names that we use now, Striker and Max Plant. The QMS name was simply a pretty simple name that I thought, what am I going to do? I'm going to do quarry and mining, and I'm just going to offer a service. So that's where I came up with that name. How it developed into Striker was when we developed the first impactor, and we had to come up with a name for the impactor itself. That name was the action of the rock going into the crusher and the blow bar of the impactor hitting the rock or striking the rock, and that's where the name Striker came about. Starting the business isn't and was never about, can I make money out of this? Can I do this? It was more the fact that I was just passionate about designing stuff. I just wanted to design things and build things, and there's nothing better than, getting a piece of paper, drawing something, taking it out into the workshop, seeing if it works. It doesn't work, so you've got to start again. That whole process, whilst it's frustrating, it's just really cool. After 12 months of you designing and prototyping things, and then 12 months you've got this machine goes out on the site. I budgeted, I think it was, $500,000 to build the first machine, and it ended up costing us about $1 million to build it. So it wasn't, it wasn't a great time at the time, but when I look back, it was really, it really was what sort of set us on the path that we are now. One of the things about obviously developing and designing a product is you've got to manufacture that product. Manufacturing in Australia was something that we thought was going to be, pretty easy, relatively easy. Never really thought much about it when we developed the first track machine. We had Simon's Engineering in Welshpool that fabricated our first few machines. They did a fantastic job. Nothing wrong with the job. It was just the cost when we were competing against the likes of Pegson, who were manufacturing in Northern Ireland. We had to reduce our cost. All of our resources were based around the mining industry, which was very high cost. So that's where we took the manufacturing or the fabrication initially offshore to fabricate the major part of the machines in Thailand. We did that, and that worked well until, again, the cost of actually assembling the machines in Australia became cost prohibitive, where we weren't making any money out of track machines. So we had to look for another source of where we could do it, and we spent sort of 12 months looking at Southeast Asia in, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Singapore, and eventually ended up Malaysia.
When we got Mum and Dad to go to Malaysia and look for a factory to begin the establishment of the Malaysian manufacturing business, it was the beginning of the journey of us working together as a family. It was amazing, and I learned so much from them overseas. Before we knew it, the kids were all grown up and they joined us in the family business as well. It's an absolute privilege to be able to navigate the ups and downs of business together as a family, but we have one clear rule: we don't talk business at home. One of the most important lessons Craig taught me when I started in the production department of Striker was, if I was not the best floor sweeper, then there was a problem. So over the first couple of months, I did become the best floor sweeper, and our manufacturing facility in Malaysia is quite large, and sweeping that floor from the front to the back in that type of heat is fairly intense. But I did gain a lot of respect from the team by putting myself out there and doing that. So everything from sweeping the floors to putting the bolts in the holes to learning the bearings was things that Craig instilled in us, that we needed to learn every single thing from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. Once Craig, I guess, trusted me maybe a little bit more with the baby that is production, he asked me to look after the production department within the business, so that would free his time up to be able to travel globally and market the equipment globally more.
Marketing the equipment globally was one of my responsibilities, and that started with travelling the globe with Dad at international trade shows, learning about the products and building relationships with our customers.
You can't build a company by yourself. A company is built around the people that work in the company and for the company and alongside the company, and that's just not just your employees, but your suppliers, your customers. So it's the whole package that has to go together, and you've got to make sure that package gels together well.
Coming from a supplier to Striker Australia to now working within the family business, my role was to develop international distribution network for our mobile crushing screen equipment, along with developing sales within Australia. Over the years, this has allowed me to gather a lot of information from our international clients and our Australian customers to identify what they want to see within the development of our products. This information then gets directly fed back to our design and engineering team.
The design process is very important to us, and that's where we've had some really good people on that design side that have been able to put the ideas that customers have had. They put those ideas together and come up with unique solutions. So, you know, like an example of that is like the big screen for Dubbo Limestone. You know, Mick and Renzo wanted a sand screen that could do 700-800 tonne an hour of just making sand, you know, a clean sort of fill sand, not bricky sand or anything like that. And that 207 was developed around what that customer wanted, and that's sort of all along our products have been developed around that. Our product of Max Plant.
The Max Plant range for me was born in 2005, 2006, as we moved from producing the tracks to getting back into more mobile and modular plants. The first plant was at Jack Hills for Macca, with a relationship that Craig had with Jeff Baker and the team. They had a budget, they had a concept, and we helped realise and envision that, being able to see the project from start to finish. Generally there with the initial concept, the multiple GA drawings we have to go through to get something that we can all agree on with the client, to going through the design process, the fabrication, the assembly, all the way over to delivery and commissioning on site. And I get to see the whole thing from start to finish, which has been an amazing journey for myself.
Whilst it's exciting, it's very terrifying as well. That, you know, big rocks into little rocks is hard work, and it puts a lot of pressure on the design of the machine. So whilst I've had some great times designing and developing machines, I've also had some terrifying times when we've taken machines onto site and they haven't quite gone according to plan. But again, it comes back to relationships. And if you've got that strong relationship with the people that work for you and the people that are buying the machine or renting the machine, if that's a strong relationship, then it can stand the test of time, and you don't have to be so scared about making a mistake. Just know that you've got to own those mistakes and make sure you fix those mistakes.
In Western Australia, we've got customers such as WA Limestone, Catalanos and Macca Mining and Civil, who've been invaluable in the development of our product range over the years with their constant feedback and advice on how we could make improvements. Still great loyal customer base as of today. In 2017, we appointed One Track as our dealer for the Australian market. Their family-owned business was complementary to ours, and that relationship's still in existence today. Next 2 to 5 years, we're excited to grow the Australian-made range of the business. We were certified on some different machinery 2 years ago for the Australian-made product, and that was a real privilege to be able to have those stickers on our equipment and send them out. We're looking forward to developing that and producing more Australian-made machinery.
So where does this all take us? We've got a future to look at, another 25 years. Maybe I'll be around, maybe I won't. It'll be nice to be around to celebrate 50 years, but if I'm not, I'm sure the family will have fun doing it without me. There's a huge opportunity for the business, for the product. We can do what we want with the product. We can take the product as far as we want. We can take it as little as we want. So that's something that I think is really in the hands of the next generation of what we're doing, as to how much effort and time they want to put into development. We've got clients that are now in second and looking at third generation within those families running businesses. So I think we've got a lot of knowledge that we can draw on for the next 25 years of how to do it right. And that's something that you know, I'm pretty excited about, that there is other people within our organisation, within the family that want to take this to the next step, want to make something of it, put their own name on it, put their stamp on it. And yeah, I look forward to watching that progress. I'm still going to play a big part in the business, but I don't know what extent they're going to want me to play a part in the business as they take the business to the next step.
I can tell you now, Dad, Nick and I are so passionate about what you created and promised to put the time and effort in you did. But let's be honest, you're never going to step down. And if you do, Nick will be wheeling you in here in your wheelchair and you'll still have an opinion. But I look forward to that day, and I look forward to the next 25 years of growing the business and the 25 years after that of giving it to my kids or nieces and nephews for the third generation of striker.
Did you not record that whole last bit?
Yeah.
So you're going to ask me a question first? Yes, so I started...
Geordie's really funny, but I can't say that. No, that would be so funny.
You just want advertising, buddy. This has nothing to do with 25 years. Talk shit to me, mate. None of this is going in the 25 years.
Whilst we're here.
Yeah, whilst here, let's interview Simic, eh?
That's not great. It needs to be.
I'm going to start with happy. Yeah. Why do we do this? So close.
Stop doing that.
I can tell you now, Dad. I can't tell you now.
That's all right. You tell him.
That's that.
Why am I
And
doing
not just...
I've got to stop looking away from the camera as soon as I finish talking, because I look straight to you
Do
like,
ya?
yeah, what's next?
Come to our design and engineering.
a piece of machinery is?
It's pissing me off already, hey? Like, it's just so annoying. Liz,